around the clock.
Depend on us, the Fox 35 Storm Team.
Wake up with me on Good Day Orlando. I'll prepare you for your day ahead so you have everything you need before you head out the door.
Then when the day winds down, join me weeknights on Fox 35 News and know what's coming.
From morning
Tonight, depend on the Fox 35 Storm Team.
Right now on Fox 35 News at 10, the Jags trading up for Travis. The reigning Heisman winner is heading to Duval County.
Two here, Deuce here, Deuce.
Plus, on the run, but not for long.
Get out here, get on the ground now.
See what happens when deputies finally catch their guy. And an accused arsonist arrested.
The Forest Service explains how she was allegedly caught in the act. And Orange County isn't the only area worried about people starting fires.
But first, Central Florida is in desperate need of rain. We are in the worst drought we've seen in 8 years, and there's not much rain in the forecast. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Luann Sorrell.
And I'm John Brown, and we have live team coverage for you tonight on the ongoing drought and the fires here in Central Florida. The Fox 35 Storm Team is tracking current conditions and how fighting the fires now compares to historically dry years. But we start with Fox 35's Chancellor Wynn live in Orange County. So, Chancellor, one woman was just arrested for allegedly starting a fire.
Yeah, John, I can tell you that the Forest Services says they were working to contain a fire, and they had just gotten that fire contained when they saw a woman allegedly starting additional fires deep in these woods. Now, containing that fire, the Forest Service has actually used bulldozers, and you can see these tracks here. They lead off into the woods, and that bulldozer is what they used to help contain the initial fire before they saw that woman start those other fires. Now, Palm Bay has placed a burn ban today, and they tell us that that's going to be to allow officers to help enforce that burn ban. Now, coming up at 11 o'clock, we'll tell you what officers can do to enforce a burn ban if someone is seen not following the instructions. But for now, reporting live in Alafaya, Chancellor Wynn, Fox 35 News.
And our team coverage continues with Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Noah Berggren.
Noah, we have not seen a drought this bad in a really long time.
Yeah, you know, Lou, we've mentioned 2017 now a few times, but actually there's parts of Volusia County and Lake and Sumter where this is the worst drought since 2011. And if it keeps going like this, we'll start bringing in 1998 into conversation, which if you're a longtime Central Floridian, you know that was a spring that had headline-making fires late in the spring. We'll talk about those years of comparison more coming up in my next forecast about 10:15. But here's the rain deficits from normal since the middle of last October, or in other words, when the dry season started. We're over 9 inches below normal in Daytona Beach, about 8 in Orlando, 7 in Sanford. So this is not a 2-3 inch rain deficit here. This is a large rain deficit. Now, there is some hope statistically. The average rain normally from April to June triples in Orlando. The average rain in June is about 8 inches per month that we have June coming around. We'll hope that that average is correct. The annual average is about 52, but there's just no rain in sight anytime soon. Temperatures out there now, 70s. It's a nice evening, 72 in Orlando. Temperatures out the door in the morning, 66 in Titusville, 67 in New Smyrna, 65 in Leesburg, 67 in Orlando, 64 in St. Cloud. Highs tomorrow, low to mid 80s at the beaches, talking about high 80s to near 90 inland areas. Talk to you more about those comparisons to previous droughts in a few minutes.
And our live team coverage continues at this hour as these fires continue to burn out of control. Fox 35's Kelsey Cairns is live in Flagler County. So, Kelsey, people who have been here a long time remember just how bad previous years have been, but 1998 was one that was even worse than this.
Yes, the 1998 Florida firestorm was on everyone's memory when we start thinking about all these fires that we've been having all across Central Florida. I spoke with someone who had to be evacuated in 98 and a firefighter who fought during the Florida firestorm. And they all remember all too well how real and how surreal it felt when we saw those flames. A lot of people were just afraid that they would have no home to return to. While there were no deaths as a result of the Florida firestorm, we did learn tonight that it cost over $600 million in damage. Reporting live tonight, I'm Kelsey Cairns, Fox 35 News.
Interesting perspective. Kelsey, thank you. And you can find up-to-date weather alerts and extended coverage on the dry conditions around Central Florida on our free Fox Local app. You can scan the QR code right there on the bottom right of your screen to get it. In Volusia County, a canine taking down a suspected drug dealer, and it's all caught on camera.
And the man is accused of selling a deadly dose of fentanyl to a woman. Fox 35's Stephanie Buff-Monty has video of that takedown tonight. Also in Volusia County, a 1-year-old boy is dead after being hit and killed while chasing after his dog. And now people rallying around that family to try and help them through this difficult time. Daytona Beach police say the 1-year-old followed the family dog after it escaped out the front door. While chasing the dog, the child stepped into oncoming traffic where 2 cars hit him. He was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Both drivers did stay on the scene and are cooperating with officers. Charges have not been filed in the case as police say that this appears to be just a huge tragedy.
It seems to be just a very tragic accident. Just this whole mix of things just came together in a really tragic turn of events last night.
A GoFundMe has now been created to support the family, and we have a link to that post right now on the Fox Local app. All right, coming up here on Fox 35 News at 10, President Trump getting ready to mark his 100th day in office, but new polls show that some voters aren't celebrating.
Plus, it is full speed ahead for Captain Peter Frank. He's canoeing 6,000 miles from Canada to the Gulf and back. And right now, he's passing through Central Florida.
I wanted to do it that way to really see if it was possible.
We are learning more about his mission after the break.
And the Jags trade up to come out of the first round of the NFL draft with a new wide receiver. And there are also several Central Florida players looking to make the jump to the pros. We have that coming up. News breaks whenever it wants.
It just happens, and when it does, we're here for you.
Streaming live during and between newscasts, taking you to the heart of the story as it happens.
Information you need now. Stories that keep you safe, aware, and connected.
More news from where you are, your neighborhood, your street, right here, right now. Fox 35 News, you can depend on us.
Welcome back. A man from Canada is taking a much-deserved break tonight in Port Orange. Get this, he's trying to canoe around America.
That's a lot, right? All right, so he started way up north, made his way down the Atlantic coast before he goes over to Mississippi to go way back up north and get back home. Got a big U there. All right, Fox 35's Stephanie Buff-Monty is live after talking to him about this incredible journey. This has got to be tough work.
Yeah, a lot of tough work. And he's actually from Michigan, but he started his journey in Canada. He's taking a break for the night right now. He's staying with a very nice in Port Orange, but this is his canoe. You could see it up here right now. He paddles about 8 hours a day, and his trip has absolutely been incredible. He's going to be back in this canoe tomorrow. He is just so amazing and so smart. He's very into history and says that he finds inspiration from past explorers back in the day. Now, he's almost halfway through the journey. If you'd like to cheer him on, follow along. We'll have all the links to his websites and social media pages on the Fox Local app. Reporting live in Port Orange, Stephanie Buff-Monty, Fox 35 News.
3, 2, 1, ignition. And liftoff. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
From Fox 35 Mission Control, a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket carrying 28 Starlink satellites just launched from the Space Coast moments ago. This marks the 23rd flight for the first stage booster.
Right now, Central Florida is seeing an extreme drought. In fact, it's our worst drought in 8 years, even longer than that in some places. And these dry conditions are expected to last well into May. And Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Noah Berggren is back with us tonight.
Okay, so we need a lot of rain to get us out of this. And looking at the 7-day, I don't see much out there, Noah.
Yeah, you know, John, the stuff on Monday that we've had a chance of rain for, it's actually probably a worse thing than it is a good thing. I know that it sounds completely backward to you, some of you, but that's because the lightning may actually spark new fires in areas that haven't seen them and do more harm than good in the very few areas that actually do get rain on Monday. No rain out there tonight. Things are completely dry, and I think most spots are not going to see any notable rain for weeks still. I stand firm in that sentiment, having looked at the long-range data. Nothing across Florida tonight, but there's a lot of rain outside of here. Showers in the Tennessee Valley, showers in Louisiana. Big-time severe weather. It is April, after all, so this is what's supposed to happen. But big-time tornadoes and severe weather from the Panhandle of Texas to Oklahoma, Kansas, and on the Front Range of Colorado, which is their severe weather season. But none of that is going to be coming here. Now, I want to give you some national perspective. We've been talking exhaustively here and extensively, and for good reason, about the drought, rain deficit, this, that, and the other. Just for perspective, we've got the little sliver of red, which is extreme drought in Florida. I mean, there's a whole quarter of Texas that's in that form of drought, half of Arizona, New Mexico, and all of southern Nevada. So it's actually not just a Florida story. A large part of the southern U.S. is experiencing extreme drought. We've just joined the party, if you will, here over the last couple of weeks. A little bit of severe to extreme drought down south of Okeechobee, but for us, it's these areas in red where we're likely to see the biggest fire concern over the next few weeks. If this continues for another month or two, then we'll start bringing into more headline-making water shortages. Potentially some wells could start drying up, things of that nature. You see from the Villages over to Umatilla, extreme drought, then over here from DeLand towards Port Orange and Ponce Inlet, some areas of extreme drought. Now, we do get rain in the dry season, just not normally a lot. Even just in the last 30 days, we've only seen 5 to 10% of what's normal for the month of April. Low to mid 80s at the beaches tomorrow. We're near 90 inland. It's mostly sunny and dry. Here's the Fox model for your Friday. If you've got Friday evening plans, things are great. An east wind today will still be gusty, about 15 to 20 miles an hour. On Saturday, we're completely dry. It's a good beach and pool weekend. Now on Sunday, there's a teeny chance of a few showers along I-75. I think this is probably overdone, but we'll keep an eye on it. I think any showers on Sunday will probably be more focused on the west coast than our area, and that's probably the same for Monday next week. I'll show you that more in the next half hour. After Monday, small chance we'll have dry conditions heading through the middle of next week. For more on the drought recently we had in 2017, send things over to my meteorologist colleague, Laurel Blanchard.
Hey Noah, so we've been really talking about the drought from 8 years ago. 2017 was pretty impactful, especially here in Orange County. And with that, that is going on almost a decade. 8 years ago, we were seeing some pretty rough drought conditions. So with that, let's actually take us back to 2017. From January 1st to today, we'll put it into perspective from what we're seeing right now. We're at about just over 4 inches of rain for today. That's what we're clocking in so far for 2025. But let's actually go back to 2017 because there were a couple of headlines, especially in parts of Marion County. We were seeing and getting reports of crop stress, especially reported in more of the rural areas of Central Florida. But also 2017 was a remarkable year because the St. Johns River was actually reported in a couple of areas of having no flow whatsoever. So that was completely bone dry in a couple of areas. But also, good thing to note about 2017 is yes, there was a drought, but also we did make up that rain almost in a give or take bittersweet way because that is the year that we saw Hurricane Irma roll through, and it overloaded areas across Central Florida with rain, surpassing the deficit. So we did make up that deficit. However, it almost caused too much rain, completely flooding out farmland, and that was definitely one of the errors because of that deficit. Too much rain. The ground wasn't actually supporting any of the rain, and it just completely flooded areas. So putting it back to 2017, there was only 3.1 inches of rain from January 1st to May 10th. And after Irma, get this, 47 inches of rain, which again caused extreme flooding in areas across Central Florida. John?
All right, coming up tonight, home buyers and sellers alike are hoping for some positive signs in the housing market, but there are some key reasons why sales could have trouble taking off this year. Well, the spring home buying season is now underway, but a new report from the National Association of Realtors shows that existing home sales plummeted last month. Sales fell about 6% month to month and were down more than 2% year over year. Analysts say the potential buyers aren't feeling very confident right now because of economic uncertainty and President Trump's tariffs.
It's the main card. People don't like to buy in uncertain times. People worry. People at home are worried about their futures and nervous about everything. And the last thing they do is want to make a large commitment to anything. They hesitate.
But there is some good news out there out of this report. Inventories are up 8% from last month, which should eventually boost home sales.
A health alert now. Anxiety is growing among parents all across the country as the measles outbreak intensifies. Texas remains the epicenter, but it is now moving more quickly into other areas, including the Midwest, with states like Illinois and Missouri reporting their first cases. There have been more than 800 cases reported here in the U.S. so far this year. With comparison to that, there were more than 300 cases in all of last year. And the CD says 96% of those infected this year are either unvaccinated or unaware of their vaccination status. According to a new study published today, the U.S. could eventually face millions of measles cases if vaccination rates continue to decline. Coming up in our next half hour, a story of survival. This young woman played dead after being shot at Florida State University. Tonight, she's sitting down with Fox 35.
And investigating Hope, Florida. The First Lady's charity now under the microscope, but key witnesses didn't show up to testify. So what happens next in this controversy? One week ago today, a gunman opened fire on the campus of Florida State University, killing 2 men and hurting 6 others. One of those shooting survivors is speaking with Fox 35.
She is back home tonight in Land O'Lakes after being released from the hospital. Fox 35's Randy Hildreth has her story.
Thanks, Randy. Also new at 10, a homeless man who's accused of attacking 2 elderly people in Claremont has been found guilty. The attack happened 1 year ago this month. Darren Kirkpatrick Starks is charged with 2 counts of battery. The victims told deputies that Starks was homeless but was allowed to come to the victim's home during periods of bad weather. Deputies say the victims confronted Starks about some missing items, and that's when the attacks happened. Starks later admitted to pushing, punching, and kicking the victims. He will stay in jail until he is formally sentenced.
A boy is back home tonight in Ocala. Police say his dad violated a court order and kidnapped him. This man is accused of pushing the child's grandmother to the ground before taking off with the child and leaving the area. Alachua County deputies caught up with him a short time later and arrested him. Also new tonight, 2 people are in police custody after leading FHP on a chase in a stolen car. The chase ended in a crash on Bumby Avenue near State Road 408. The driver crashed into 2 innocent cars. Fortunately, no one was hurt. The crash left traffic backed up during rush hour this afternoon for a long time, but that road has since reopened.
State Attorney Monique Worrell has taken a victory lap after returning to office. She says that she's increased the conviction rate to 70%, which she says is 5% higher than her predecessor. She held a news conference today to tout her success. This comes just weeks after being called out by the state attorney general for having a backlog of about 13,000 cases. The state then sent 6 additional lawyers to help alleviate that backlog. Worrell says her record speaks for itself, especially when it comes to cracking down on shootings.
Gun violence continues to plague our communities, whether it be in a neighborhood, on the street, or out here in traffic as we all travel about our ways. And as someone who works every day to uphold justice and accountability, I see firsthand the devastating impact these crimes have on victims and on neighborhoods. I speak as a mother that fears the everyday routine could end in tragedy, and that is a burden that no parent should have to bear.
Worrell says her goal is to get the conviction rate to 90%, which is where it was during her first term back in 2023.
A new community garden opened today in Pine Hills. It is at the community center on Jennings Road. That is less than a half mile from the site of a shooting back in 2023 that took the lives of a 9-year-old little girl and a TV reporter. The community says since that shooting, the center has been helping the community heal and thrive. This garden serves as a place where people can nurture their bodies.
The mission behind the garden is basically we provide fruits and vegetables to the community free of charge, where they can plant, they can learn about different classes, and also they can provide nutrition to their family as well.
Right now there are peppers, tomatoes, eggplants, and more.
Well, Florida House Republicans are halting their investigation into a charity that's linked with the governor and first lady. But this story is not over.
No, it comes after weeks of scrutiny over the receipt of $10 million that came from a settlement. Fox 35's Marlisa Goldsmith is live in the Alert Center tonight to share why lawmakers are moving on. Marlisa.
Well, Luann and John, some lawmakers say the money that was given to Hope Florida was then redirected to Keep Florida Clean, a group that rallied against a proposed constitutional amendment to legalize recreational marijuana. The governor and First Lady Casey DeSantis held a news conference Thursday morning in St. Augustine. The governor says House Republicans are trying to make names for themselves and says it is an attempt to keep his wife from running for governor. Live in the studio tonight, Marlisa Goldsmith, Fox 35 News.
Marlisa, thank you. Some new polling shows how voters feel about President Trump's recent policies, including tariffs. It comes as the president marks 100 days in office next week.
And it's a mixed bag for people, even those who voted for Trump. Fox 35's Rich Edson has the numbers tonight. All right, coming up in the Fox 35 Sports Zone, not a good night for quarterbacks in the draft. The Florida teams are filling up their rosters, and several local players still hopeful they're going to make the cut.
And Milk's favorite cookie is adding a new flavor to the lineup, but it's only around for a limited time. When you can get your hands on it, coming up.
All right, first of all, the Fox 35 Pump Patrol, $3.09 a gallon. That's at the Circle K off West Colonial Drive in Winter Garden.
Today we're here in Lake Mary getting people ready for their morning with some free coffee. I'm Stephanie Rivas. I'm a traffic and news anchor for Good Day Orlando. Here is your free coffee, Joe. See you at 4 a.m. My two favorite things combined, news and coffee. You gonna watch?
Wake up with Brooks and Jessica weekday mornings on Good Day Orlando.
We have breaking news in the Fox 35 Sports Zone tonight.
Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter is heading to Jacksonville. The Jags moved up from 5th to 2nd to get Hunter from Colorado. They aren't the only Florida team picking tonight. They all have first-round picks. Miami had the 13th pick and selected a defensive tackle from Michigan. And Tampa Bay had the 19th pick in the first round, and they drafted a wide receiver from Ohio State.
All right, but believe it or not, only one quarterback taken so far in this draft. Fox 35's Jessica Ely joins us live tonight from the campus of UCF. Well, Jessica, the Jags made that big move, and now it's time for some UCF talent to get drafted out there.
Yeah, you're right, John. We're here at UCF. None of the Knights have been selected just yet, but that's likely to change tomorrow. The big story of the night is all the talent coming out of Florida and coming here to the Sunshine State. So Travis Hunter was actually here at UCF back at the end of September with his team, Colorado. So he put on a show back then. He'll be back here in the Sunshine State. But for the draft, the second and third rounds begin tomorrow. From UCF, Jessica Ely, Fox 35 Sports.
Jessica, thank you. The Orlando Pride are hoping to get back in the win column. The women are hosting Angel City FC tomorrow night. Last weekend's loss against Washington broke the Pride's 22-match undefeated run at home. But Orlando can get back on track tomorrow. Angel City FC is coming off a 4-0 loss against Gotham FC. Tomorrow's matchup kicks off at 8 p.m. at Inter & Co Stadium.
Meanwhile, Orlando City will be back on the pitch on Saturday night to host Atlanta United. Neither team has won a match since March, but Orlando also hasn't given up a goal since then. That match kicks off at 7:15, and you can watch it right here on Fox 35. All right, well, this weekend is going to be another dose of hot and humid. Sunday could be the warmest day of the year so far. That's hot. And Noah Bergman is back with us right now.
Yeah, your ice cream melts really fast in that heat. So, Noah, there's also a slight chance of some showers to start off our next week.
Yeah, you know, Lou, the chance is small. I want to stress most people are not going to see any rain. I want to make that clear because we've talked a lot about this small chance of showers next week, and I don't want to overplay it to any. Most people are not going to see rain. A few will, but the majority will not. All right, so let me get out of the way, and let me show you this graphic, a different way to tell the story about the drought. This is the average rain by month. Of all the misconceptions, or I keep a list on my phone of things I'm asked most by people when I meet them in public or talk about weather, and they're, oh, you're a meteorologist, and they say X after that. Well, here in Florida, one of the things is it rains in the wintertime. Yes, it does. In fact, it's normal for it to rain in December, January, February. People from up north often joke it's just sunny and completely dry, sunny and 75 in Florida in the winter. Well, it's not. In fact, between November, December, January, February, we average about a half a foot of rain. That's a big part of our annual rain, because if we don't get any of that little bit of rain in winter, hello to where we are this year, fires and drought heading into spring. So while it's not a big average, November, December, January, February, it's very important in the yearly rain cycle. And there you can see the rainy season, which is from June through September, where the annual rain eventually sums up to 52 inches, typically in Orlando. Rain deficit since the end of last year is now closing in on 10 inches in parts of Volusia County, about 7 below average in Sanford. Some stats for you now. Volusia County, 26% of the county is now under extreme drought. The last time any part of Volusia County was in extreme drought, 2000, 2011, 2012, 2001. Now, for perspective, I know some of you might be saying about the fires here in Central Florida in 98. The drought monitor wasn't a thing then. It was invented in 1999. So in terms of that record, it's only been now the 5th time we've had ever extreme drought in 25 years in Volusia County. In Orange County, a little bit more common. We've had severe drought now a handful of times. You see the years there. A little under half of Orange County is now in severe drought. Not quite as bad as Volusia County, but we'll see. The long-range rain outlook continues to be very dry. This is through June 1st in red. There's going to be a few chances here and there for rain during May, but to be honest, it's not a lot. It's not a lot of rain during May. At this point, it'll probably take an early season tropical system coming near us, hopefully obviously not strong, to end this rain. We're not just going to get magically 10 inches of rain on a July afternoon. That doesn't happen. So it's going to take something more notable to break out of the rain deficit. Here's the latest drought monitor. Now, any day there's gusty winds, there's a very elevated brush fire risk. Now, if we do see this extreme drought, which is in red, continue for weeks, that's when you could start bringing into more notable headline-making municipalities of water shortages and wells go dry. We're not quite there yet. If this continues for another month, okay, then that'll become a more common issue. Winds are still gusty from the east tonight, 10 to 15. High today was 86 in Orlando, got to 92. How about that? 92 Tampa, Fort Myers, 89 today in Sebring. Temperature right now is 75 in Melbourne, 72 Orlando, and 75 in Ocala. All right, out the door in the morning, mid to high 60s. Tomorrow, near 90 inland, low to mid 80s at the beaches, a gusty east wind, and totally dry. Out there tonight, it is warm everywhere across the eastern United States. So tomorrow is a good day to finish your Friday and the work week, but still no rain. Small chance of a shower Sunday, maybe a few thunder showers Monday. It's not a lot though, and temperatures will stay in the upper 80s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week.
All right, next here on Fox 35 News at 10, gamers have been highly anticipating the release of the Nintendo Switch 2 for months. And even though it won't be here until June, pre-orders are already creating consumer chaos.
And before we head to break tonight, you are taking a live look over the Kia Center in downtown Orlando on this gorgeous Thursday evening. The Orlando Magic will be back here tomorrow for Game 3 in their first round matchup against the Boston Celtics. And they're down 2-0 right now, so they really need to win at home. We'll be right back.
We're slashing prices on all of our trucks during our giant truck sale at Toyota of Orlando and Toyota of Claremont.
When news breaks.
This is not a drill. This is the real thing.
By far the worst damage we have seen.
This was the result of street racing.
This is one of the trees investigators say a car hit.
Live wherever you are.
Reporting live in Brevard County. Reporting live in Tavares.
Reporting live in Volusia County.
Fox 35 News. Streaming free with Fox Local.
I'm Marlisa Goldsmith. Join me late nights at 11 for the late news that won't put you to sleep.
Fox 35 Late News at 11. Weeknights.
If you are hoping to get your hands on the new Nintendo Switch 2, you're out of luck, at least for now.
That was quick. Thousands of people hopped online last night hoping to get their hands on the console, but the high volume of traffic meant long delays and a quick sellout, too. Some people say their order went through only to be canceled hours later. Nintendo says it's working to fulfill all the orders they can, but a June 5th delivery date is not guaranteed at this point. But people in the gaming world say not all hope is lost because sold out typically only means sold out for now.
don't be discouraged if you see something as being sold out, because if you wait a few minutes, stock can come back in, especially during like a big restock event that's going to be happening over the next like few weeks or so.
Now he adds part of the high demand stems from customer worries over tariffs, possibly impacting the price of that console.
Trending tonight, Oreo is introducing a brand new flavor. It's chocolate-covered pretzels. The cookie part will feature the pretzel flavor with a hint of salt. The cream is chocolate. The cookies are expected to hit store shelves May 5th and will only be available for a limited time.
The late news at 11 is coming up next.
And Marlisa Goldsmith is here to kick things off. Hi, Marlisa.
Hi, Luann and John. Tell me this. What would your reaction be if a giant gator came knocking at your door?
Sell the house. That's what I do.
Well, it's certainly not the visitor that these homeowners were expecting to drop by. You're going to hear from the woman who opened her door to find this reptile coming up.
Nightlights is sponsored by Ocean Bank, taking business further.